So, people, it's Friday. It's a sunny Friday.
It is.
It's a butterfly-tastic Friday because I'm seeing one floating around doing butterfly stuff. What's our first comment?
I didn't have it open. I'm so sorry. How to wind a Seiko.mpv.
Now, for those of you who aren't in the know, it was a long time ago. I didn't know anything about this. People would ask me, "Hey, how do you an automatic Seiko like these automatic Seikos? You can't hand wind them. It's only by movement." And so people were, "How do you wind this thing?" So I thought I would make just a real quick video showing how, like in the Seiko manuals, the owner's manuals, how you hold your watch like so, and you just, you wind it just like so. You hold your watch like you're skipping a rock, and there you go. You just wind it enough to get it going, strap it on your wrist, and off you get. I didn't mean for this video to do anything more than anything. Well, it's 11 years later, and it's a go on, I guess.
Well, Gerald Joshua Echavia said, "Ha ha 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 ha. Decade and still people are referring to it."
It's crazy. It's been actually 11 years, and it's our most watched video. It's 111,000 views, and we still get comments on it. Some people are still outraged. They think I'm damaging the watch. Or they just, I don't know, it's between this or using an automatic mainspring winder. I don't hear too much about that one too much anymore.
No.
I used to, but I don't anymore. So anyway, without further ado, so you don't have to think about it, I'm going to insert that video right here. I don't know why. It's one of those things that, I guess it's a perennial question that just never really gets answered. Let's hope for another 111,000 views. Okay.
Why don't we do wrist check?
Oh, let's do a wrist check. And there it is. The glorious silver Brad Pitt.
Yeah, I saw it on our dresser, and I was like, hey, I want to wear that today.
So this is Brad Pitt in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. His character, Cliff Booth, wore the gold version of this watch. This lovely Citizen 70s piece. And I am still wearing this. It's got the service handset, so it's got that 6309 sweep, but it's a 6105. This is the 8009 Resist. It's the second rarest variant. I keep forgetting.
What year is it from?
I'd have to pull the strap on this one and actually see. Because I've got... So it's a late one. Yeah, so it's a 6009 Resist. There's 4 variants. God, my brain not working is going to be the 6,000. The 6105, 8009 Resists are the second rarest. The rarest being the 6009 Proof. So second rarest. Pretty good though. Pretty good. I've got to come up with I got to do something else. I got to pick another watch. I love it so much. I have a strong personal belief that aesthetically, the slim case, the slim Willards as they're called, are the superior of the 6105s. And they're both exquisite, beautiful, one-of-a-kind watches, designs that look like nothing else from their time. The only slight edge that I will give definitively to the big 8110 case is that at least the crown is a locking crown in the sense that it has a locking pin on it. This one, not having anything on the crown, and with that big crown moving against your wrist, you can pull it out or roll it, and then moisture can get inside, which is a problem. But in terms of the aesthetics, there's just it's just such a perfect watch design, and it's so unique. Even compared to like Seiko had all these different models that used these sorts of case lines at this time, number of sports divers and stuff. But even those don't look like this because of the way that the proportions that were chosen here. Somebody earned their dinner that night.
Earned their dinner.
Oh, 100%, 100%. So anyway, that's Rischeck.
Okay, my phone went off. Hang on. There. Okay, the Seiko Pogue reissued. Also, Kamen Rider Rides Again.
Oh yeah. Okay, so here's the thing. Seiko has just come out with some new reissues.
I had no idea.
I didn't either. We had a comment about it. It said, so here's the comment.
Well, it's from Monad Mercedes 8246. You aren't gonna pre-order its 10K limited edition less than previous reissues. I guess it was 15K. Some Japanese websites still provide pre-order with JDM model.
What's interesting about this is they have a Pogue reissue that is for this. That's one of the two models that just came out, and I have a little video about that that's coming up. So they did a Pogue reissue, but it's even, I would barely call it a reissue. I wouldn't even call it a homage. They changed so much about what makes the Pogue the Pogue. To contrast, the Kamen Rider, which was it was a really early sport diver made by Daini, and we have a couple. In fact, I own one that has a very mysterious early caseback where the Daini logo is reversed.
Oh, I remember.
And I've got the black dial version and the light dialed version of that watch. And when they do those reissues, for some reason they are extremely faithful. Not 100% faithful, as we saw with that last Sport Diver reissue. The crystal was all kinds of funky and weird for me, but they work to get a lot of things correct. So it's going to be very interesting. I have two video segments now. One is I look at just the Pogue, the new Pogue. And then I have another segment where we go to the Seiko website and I just look very briefly at the Kamen Riders. Well, here it is. Here's this is their current interpretation of they're even calling it the Pogue, but they're confused. It's Pogue-ish. Let's look at the differences. They decided to go with a two-tone, which the 6139 never did. Okay, that's fine. That's one thing or another. They used the teardrop hand, which is interesting, which means they're manufacturing that teardrop hand again. I wish I could get my hands on a bunch of them. They decided to go 3-register, which is something they've been doing recently. It looks like the hand surfaces are pretty flat. It's a modern interpretation of the old hand styles. What's weird about these markers is, see how it's got the bright shiny bit on the inside here? Well, those, why does it say F and E? I wonder what that means. Anyway, this is like the 6139 pulse meters have their markers backwards like this. A Pogue should have the shiny bit over here with the this whole section loomed. They've got the Pepsi bezel, but you'll notice that the numbers go around and then flip like so. On a 6139, they're all flat to the marking point. They don't go around in a circle like this. The case style, I don't know if there's any more pictures of this thing. The case style is, well, it's not like a Pogue. It's not like a 6139. It's kind of generic-y. I can't really even get a feel for it. It's an interesting watch. I'm I'm not surprised. It's a solar caliber. You can, so yeah, it's a solar watch. It's an X solar. It's not bad looking. It'll be in the right price point, but it's not a recreation. I bet that the case quality is just fantastic. I don't know. Well, it's something. This, let's see what it says. The model has a golden sunburst dial with a black chapter ring, red, blue tachymeter bezel insert. So they were trying to. So it doesn't have an internal rotating bezel either. It's 41.4 across. It's pretty big. 45, 13 thick, 4192 solar caliber. It's a standard edition to the lineup and is not a limited edition. Okay. We know more. Okay, so here we are. This is the Seiko online store. Hey, look at that. There's your Kamen Rider. I have both these in original. I have one of these that's got the that weird backwards Daini lightning bolt on the back of it. I still don't know what to make of that. Here's your King Seiko. That's another throwback design. Yeah, I owned one of these, but in the brown and gold and black. Boy, I don't know. We're heading into like the late 70s here in terms of styling. And then this stuff is really 90s. Oh, but I'm actually here. What am I doing? I'm actually here to look at this. SBDL 117. Item is unavailable for purchase at your location. Well, that's okay. I don't know how much they're asking for it. V192 is a solar. I'm sure for a basic running around tool watch, it'll be perfectly fine. Does this have a translate? Do they have any other pictures of it? Nope, and now we're into these. I had that one right there. Huh, interesting. Well, that's that. Okay, so keeping that in mind, what that watch looks like with the blue and the red, I mean, they just took kind of hints from it. I don't know why they flipped the markers to be like a pulsemeter. That's kind of wacky. They changed a lot of the details.
Yeah, it doesn't look like a Pogue at all.
Well, you need to find the one. You're looking at the one with the all black.
Okay.
You're looking at the Bumblebee version. There's got to be one with the red and blue. But if you're not seeing it, then you'll just have to use your imagination.
I'm using my imagination.
Okay, well, you know what? They've got those going, and I will. The Pogue reissues are not a limited edition. They're solar, so they're not going to be that expensive. So that's one that we might see in here. The limited edition Kamen Rider. I'll have to look at it and make a decision about that. I'm still on the fence about the last reissue, just for, how the crystal sat and how that looked. So, but I'd like to be able to get my hands on it and look at it. That would be fun. But we'll find out.
Mm-hmm. Mail call. Lawson Mars 6110. Oh, hey guys, I can confirm that car boot sales are a thing in the UK.
Wait. Can you back up? You can confirm that what is what?
Sorry. That car boot sales are a thing in the UK. I'm
okay.
Scottish, but currently living in Australia, and they also have a big Sunday morning car boot scene. You never know what you're going to find.
Oh, wow. We should do that here. Why don't we do that here?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I mean, that seems like that would be nice. You have, get one of the little parking lots in Old Town, downtown, and have people come and open up the back of the cars and sell stuff. I think that'd be pretty awesome.
Mm-hmm.
I think that'd be a very cool thing. I think that's a good idea.
Bruce Barlow. Don't worry about going to the African plains to see those large animals. Just come down under and visit the Auckland Zoo. You will see all those African plain animals and the flightless kiwi bird. I would like to see that. Then a trip down to Middle Earth to visit Hobbiton. If you really want to see large biting things, a cage dive off bluff, you will encounter some very large angry great white sharks. Shark Week said they are the most aggressive whites in the world. Checking in while on vacation in Rarotonga, Cook Island.
A man just skateboarded by in jeans and a sport coat and a big Stetson straw cowboy hat being towed by his 2 dogs.
Well, I missed it.
Well, I have to say the great white thing would be kind of tempting.
I wouldn't do it.
Well, no, because you're in a big cage.
I'm not a swimmer or a diver or a...
I think that would be pretty fascinating. But the thing is you want to see these animals in their real life,
Yeah.
their actual habitat. That'd be the thing. I have read about some of these African things where, it's you go out there and you're in these sort of raised platforms hanging from some kind of a thing or the trees or whatever, and you're basically open to the night except for mosquitoes and mosquito netting, and I don't know, that just sounds terribly romantic to me. But I have to say, being in ice cold thrashing waters surrounded by extremely aggressive angry great whites,
I wouldn't do it.
that comes a close second in terms of romance. Okay. Let's do it.
Monad Mercedes 8246. Hey Spencer, how much similarities 6R or 4R movements to 1960s automatic Seiko movements? I read that it's same as up to 85% as 61 and 63 series movements. Is that true? Or just newer movements are downgraded from the past?
Well, there's 2 different things. You've got, the thing is, the 6000 series movements, and that's like 6105, 6106, 6119, 6309. That movement family basically ended when the Daini Sua, friendly competition ended. When that ended, which would, late-ish 80s, and mechanical production was pushed down to Hong Kong, at that point, the 6000 series just became it's done. But a huge percentage of those movements do swap back and forth. The current iteration of movements is the 7000 series based on, from that same time period, 7005, 7006, 7000, so 7005, 7006, 7009. There's a whole list of them, and they have a chronograph derivation as well. 701, 7015, 7016, 7017, 7018. Just as with the 6000 series, they had a chronograph derivative, the 6138s and the 6139s. There's a lot of interchangeability. There's a lot of interchangeability even now. Like the pallet forks and the pallet fork bridges, and I think the escape wheels, they're usable all the way back, which is really crazy. And that's not the only part. The biggest change was when they went from the 7000, actual 7000 series, to 7S. There they changed the way that the calendar works. They moved the keyless works inside underneath the train and did some other stuff, and that was with the 7S26A. And then they went to the B and the C, changing some key factors like the way the balance works and stuff. But all the architecture is exactly the same. You can take an A-style balance, hell, you can take a 7005 balance, brand new, and put it complete with it. As long as you have the balance arm, you can put the whole thing in a modern 7000 series derived Seiko, and it should work just fine. Which, removes some of the guesswork about trying to get a balance in beat, which is nice.
Tony Ricciardi. Spencer and Sabrina, I just wanted to let you guys know how much I appreciate your knowledge, expertise,
thank
and
you.
content. As a hobbyist watchmaker and Seiko fanatic, I am amazed at the wealth of knowledge that your channel has provided me in my Seiko journey.
I hope it's accurate.
I currently own 23 vintage Seikos and 21 modern references. I've also built 10 or so Seiko mods with NH35 and 36 movements. I just left a donation through the web. Thank you.
Thank you.
That was so nice of you.
Thank you. That's very, very nice of you. Thank you.
Many thanks, and please keep up the great work. I was watching one of your older videos about the crystals that you sold. I was curious if you still sold crystals.
Yeah, they're on the website.
Yeah, or if you knew of a good, reliable source, us. I know there are lots of poor quality Chinese versions on eBay, etc., but I wanted to find higher quality like you sold in the past. Yes, we still sell them.
Right. And for those of you who don't know, our crystals are produced only for us through GS Crystals. GS Crystals is the oldest extant watch crystal company in the entire world. And they're American based. They're in Rochester, New York. You know, we appreciate your support very much. And our crystals are very much available. We still sell them. They're on the website, kleinvintagewatch.com. They're the same crystals that we've always produced, and we inherited those crystals from Jonathan Koch, who is kind of the real guru of vintage Seiko. He was unfortunately he passed, you know, in the teens. But he was the first person to really popularize vintage Seiko, and he had sold them back in the day. He's been a big Seiko pumper since the late '60s and early '70s. He knew his stuff, and he, forged this partnership that he passed on to us for our crystals. And so our crystals are produced. We get them from GS Crystals. It's the oldest extant crystal company in the entire world, and they only provide them to us. So if you want, that quality, that precision, like how Jonathan had them laid out, or like we did the Type 2 crystal, the exactitude is excellent because GS takes their work very seriously in terms of engineering.
What other crystals did we get made after Jonathan besides the Type 2s? I think the 16 GAs.
The 16 GAs, which is for the that is for the 7549 tunas. Nobody was making those, and we make those now.
What about the 23 HN01s?
That is the correct crystal for the 7002 divers.
Right, and we got those made.
We are the ones that did that. They did not exist before we did it, and it was becoming increasingly difficult to find those when we started having those produced. And I'm looking at having actually a new variant of the 330W18 GN00 crystal for the 6139 Pogue redone, because there were two versions of it. The one that most people know it's a double dome, and that's the one that you see a lot. It's a stronger crystal. The earlier version is what I call the flat, and it was meant to replicate the very first crystal. The very first crystal was a V-type crystal, which is just a flat platinum glass with a bevel on the edge, bonded into a metal ring that itself then was snapped onto the case with a bezel. And then they moved away from that almost immediately to a complete glass piece that had that same profile, but it was flat inside, flat outside, flat top and bottom. So I call them the flats, and you see them, they're not uncommon. The biggest difference is that they don't have a lensing, and so the whole dial appears a little bigger, and you can see it a little better. I'm working with trying to get a prototype going on it so I can see exactly how it looks. In fact, I need to contact them because I've kind of let that go a little bit. I don't know. It's just been a few days. I forgot about it.
Well, I mean, there was a holiday of America.
Oh, that's true. Yeah. That's true. We missed the July 4th holiday. But anyway, yeah. So
we didn't miss it.
We didn't. You're right. We didn't.
We were here in America.
Sorry, I'm thinking about crystals, but the Type 1 flats, it's just I haven't seen it, so I don't know what the product would look like, so I have trouble talking it up for that reason.
Seiko 6139 7039 Baby Jumbo. Super U1T. I like vintage Seikos. They have cool names. Just got me a Bumblebee diver from Singapore. Like they're from Singapore.
Yeah. I like names when they are
fun
and organic. Mm-hmm. Like the old Stargate diver. I was on the forums when the Stargate was named. I don't know how much following the Stargate has anymore, but a name like that was so perfectly organic that just came out. I mean, people love trying to, name stuff, but it's really hard to find an organic model. I can claim True Pogue. That's me. Mm-hmm. I'm the one that came up with True Pogue because I needed something to call it that, specified exactly what the specifications were for an actual one. So I've got that, but I don't know that it's so much a name as it is a descriptor.
I don't know. It is a
It-
descriptor.
Yeah, the only other one is the Osaka Navigator, but they're so rare. They're so rare that it's not going to be a real piece of commonality in people's collections because there's so few of them. Like there's something like less than 20 known. I mean, they're that rare. So, it's tough. But yes, cool names are where it's at.
Rolex versus Seiko. Rainy Hingpit 2279. When Rolex have Cyclops, they love it. When Seiko have it too, they don't like it. Why? Who is they?
Oh, just watch owners in general, whether they like Cyclops. I remember reading a lot of stuff about Cyclopses because at a certain point, I had a 5512 that I built out of parts, and which of course is no date and it doesn't have a Cyclops. And then I got a vintage Rolex, well, my 000, but before that, I got the model that's after the 000, which I can't bring to mind right now. 16610. But anyway, it has Cyclops, and if you've never had a Cyclops, they're kind of jarring to look at. And so
I like them.
well, it makes it easier to read for sure. But I was doing some online looking at, and there's all this conversation in especially old Rolex forums talking about how much they hate the Cyclops and how much they want to take it off and why they'd rather have a deep, the Sea Dweller, instead because it doesn't come with the Cyclops. So there's a lot of people in the Rolex community that don't like the Cyclops at all. Of course, a lot of other people have gotten used to it, and now it's kind of what you expect to see on a Rolex. But I don't know. I take it as I take it. Plus, it means I can read the date without having to really worry about it. Maybe that's the watch I'll swap this out for.
Okay.
Maybe I'll go get my 000 out.
Mr. Pink Floyd. Rolex are not hand-built, not hand-loomed, etc. Rolex, if they had only gone up with inflation from the 58 one, would be the same price as the Seiko. The Seiko is a better watch.
That's an interesting point. So he was talking about the comparison of the two watches at their times and how much it would be worth and how much Rolex has been artificially inflated in terms of price, and that it would be the same value as the Marine Master, the SBDX 001. And that really does say something. If that math is even slightly accurate, which I'm sure it is, that really does say something, and I would have to agree with you because the SBDX certainly was hand built and it was hand loomed, and they are, much rarer than any sub of that era or even this modern era. They're much harder to find. I can find subs all day long. You can find SBDX 001s, but not as often as you'd think. Not as often as you think. They're getting real hard to come by.
Seiko SSK 003 pressure testing the case. Sekundensieger, the housing has been proven to withstand 20 bar water pressure, screw down crown or not. Oh right, we were carrying on about that.
Yeah, we did this. This is when the new there were these new Seiko models. I don't even remember how they ended up being categorized. One was the Batman, and I took the Batman completely apart. All right, brand new watch. We got it in here. SSK 003, was it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Was that the orange one? It was the...
We got the orange one and the blue one. I took the blue one completely apart.
I'm trying to remember what the orange one was called. It began with an M because it was like an orange but a Japanese word for it or something.
Mandarin?
No.
I don't know.
I don't remember.
I don't remember either. Well, yes, you're correct. The only caveat being is that you have, much like this watch, there's nothing holding the crown from turning or going in and out or whatever. And that, to me, limits the depth that it can go to. If you have a true screw-down crown, I'd call it a 200-meter watch at that point. I wouldn't want to trust that a non-screw-down crown, underwater. But, that's me. I'm perhaps a little overcautious.
I'm looking at what it's called because I don't remember, but I don't remember what number the orange one is. Oh, well, somebody will be like, duh, people, and I'll go, oh, okay.
I don't remember. The name didn't have anything to do with the color?
It was an orange.
I know it was an orange. So was it an orange name? But it wasn't Mandarin, because Mandarin is a color orange.
No, it was what? It was a Japanese word or something.
I don't know. No idea.
Somebody, please tell me.
Yeah, if somebody knows the answer to our question that even we don't know the answer to.
KDW presents a very Seiko catalog, 1986 and 94, a 6458 bracelet search. Okay.
Which is still fruitless, by the way. I still don't know what bracelet that thing's supposed to be on, if in fact it's even supposed to be on a bracelet.
So you didn't put the person's name. I'm so sorry, person.
Oh, yeah, somebody made a comment, and it looks like I accidentally clipped your name off, so we don't know what your name is. If you know your name, please put it down in the comments, and I'll know how to thank you properly.
Freddie Mercury wore red Seiko Sport Runner SDEM015, sold for 35,560 pounds on the auction. It's at 5 minutes 32 seconds in your video.
5 minutes 32 seconds. I'll insert a picture. Another star from that era who wore a Seiko was Sting. Weirdly,
Really?
Yeah, he used this. He wore one of this sort of fairly obscure pulsemeter. I actually have one.
Oh.
Yeah, it's a Sting. I've completely forgotten about it until like this second. I should go dig it out.
Sidewalk Astronomy Netherlands. I wonder if my Pulsar Quartz 2001 V1036059 reference number V1036059550061 is in that book. I still don't know how old it is and how expensive it was. Found it on the flea market.
Well, I think the internet is your friend. You've got to find a Pulsar catalog, assuming such a thing existed, and I'm sure it did. It had to exist. It's just a matter of whether somebody has ever scanned it. That'd be the thing. I'd be curious to find out. You should dig it up, man. Do it.
Matt Morris 481, 70,000 yen back in 86, if I'm correct, was about 152. Now 70,000 yen is about 434, and I see Spencer math.
I went and did some math. From then to now, the yen has increased about 28.51%. So that means that it would be, my math, it would be today 89,959,000.34 yen, which is today's rate, like today, $559. Also, I was going on about, in that video, talking about my AGS Landmaster, that it was 100,000 yen. So that today would be 112,000 yen, 916 and 35, which would be 701 USD today. That's not bad. Mm-mm. That's not bad for what was considered to be, I think, a pretty high price watch, based on how it compared to the others.
Juan L.G. Sanchez. I am pleasantly surprised by how valued this model is in the vintage market. It is a watch that I saw on my father's wrist when I was a child, and I still have it, along with another unit that I acquired a few years back.
Wow, you still have your dad's watch, your dad's Yachtsman? That's great. I wish that they were worth more. I think they're a really, really cool model, and they're also really affordable, relatively speaking, compared to the other 6138s. And they're a super cool, iconic look with that big reverse panda dials that they come with. They're really neat. It's just a matter of waiting and finding a good one. But they're easily one of the most easy ones to find out there of the 6138s. There's enough of them, and there's enough of them in good condition that you have a real fighting chance to get a decent one. So I think they're great.
Seiko 6138001, Yachtsman, a few variants, World JDM, and more. Bazman 7056, got mine for my 13th birthday 50 years ago.
Wow.
I was a diver, a pilot, a bush hunter, an engineer. I still love it today. It's had such a hard life that it's beyond repair today, still runs, but that's what happens to a tool watch, so I started collecting Seiko divers. Love your work.
Oh, okay. I actually screwed up here. The previous comment went with the 6138. It's my fault. It's an editing problem. This gentleman is talking about his 6105 diver. his 6105 8110 that he owned new from 13. So that's entirely on me. But what's cool, it's not beyond repair. Anything mechanical can be repaired. Anything can be. I can clean the dial. I can often make and I'm not doing this as a sales pitch. I'm doing this as a, hey man, your watch has lots of life left in it. It can be repaired. It can be maintained. It can be upgraded, and you can wear it without fear for another good number of years, for as long as you want. That's the great thing about Seikos, is they were designed to be maintained, and they are maintainable, which is pretty awesome. Okay, now we have
green bean.
One quick green bean question.
Cold, crusty cars. Looks great. I was recently given a 1974 MGB GT that I had to remove from its long storage downtown Charleston, South Carolina. I like the little car, but I absolutely can't fit in it. I hope to find the car a home where it will be cared for and not crushed in the near future. Yeah, I'm not used to getting into cars that low and that small, so it is. And I was like, is this how high the windshield goes?
Yeah, I was reading a comment this morning. There was a guy, because I don't have a top for green bean. I don't have a folding top or anything. It was supposed to come with one, and it never came with one. And I still don't have an answer to that mystery. I'm not going to worry too much about it. But yeah, the one person said about the top, about having a hard top on it, is that they're fairly tall, and if they're at the front of the line for the traffic light, they have to bend and they have to look through the windscreen like this. Apparently there's an option you can get, which is a prism.
Oh, really?
You can get a prism for the inside of the windscreen so you can see the lights change. A lot of people, apparently, they just don't have tops on them. They just don't, period. They just don't leave the tops on them, and they don't drive them in winter, and that's just the end of it, which seems bananas to me. But dude, please, I want to see pictures of this 74 MGB GT. Like, how bad is it? How long do we have until you're going to crush the thing?
He said that he doesn't want it crushed.
No, I understand, but I think that's his business.
Oh, well, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I think it's his business. I mean, you got to be able to do something. There's an MGB GT forum on Facebook. Maybe somebody around there would be willing to come and get it. You're welcome to ship it out to me. I mean, how
much rust is there?
I don't know how much rust is. I have no idea. But I mean, I've got a backyard. You ship it out here to me, and I'll take care of it. I'll put it in the backyard, and we'll figure it out and go from there. South Carolina, I don't know how that South Carolina deals with cars. No idea.
I would think that it would probably
be rusty.
Mm-hmm.
I would be very curious to see pictures and hear more about it. If you want to send a couple pictures to KVW at KleinVintageWatchRepair.com, or is it KleinVintageWatch.com?
Klein Vintage Watch Repair.
So KVW at KleinVintageWatchRepair.com. I'd love to see pictures of it. You know, maybe find that, MGB GT, MG and MGB GT group on Facebook. It comes pretty much right up. Also, there's the MG Experience. Somebody in that area, somebody's got to want to know. Worst comes to worst, about Bring a Trailer. Put it on Bring a Trailer. If it doesn't have to be crushed, maybe not crush it. But, it's not my business, and I can't do it. But, again, if you ship it out here, I can make it my business. Okay, that's it, folks. We're done for the week, and we will talk to you later. Okay, bye-bye.